is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! Yes! 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 That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker, and welcome to this very special Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra Podcast. That's right, ladies and gents. It is brought to you by me, Anthony Walker. Hope you guys are well. And whatever it is you are doing. I am here to do this podcast today. It's a very special weekend edition of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, ladies and gents. Why is it a weekend edition? It is because I want to talk about one thing that I know I'm not going to be able to talk about on the show. So I thought I'll bring it to you here. And that is the Final Deletion match between Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy that took place July 5th on Impact. I'll get to that in a second though, because as I'm doing this right now, I've got some breaking news. That's right, Brock Lesnar will be facing at Summerslam. Granted, he survives the UFC 200 fight between him and Mark Hunt. Granted, he survives that. Brock Lesnar will go one-on-one at SummerSlam, August 21st, against Randy Orton. That's right, you heard me correct. Randy Orton. Mr. RKO versus Brock Lesnar. And it's funny enough, guys, because this was one of the matches that we wanted to see you get from Brock Lesnar. There was many, when Brock Lesnar first came back, there was many matches and many things that were going to go down, or we wanted to see go down for Brock Lesnar, and this was one of them, and we're going to get to see it at the biggest party of the summer. So it's being made, guys. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, and I cannot wait for this match. It's going to be the F5 versus the RKO, the Viper against the Beast. It's just going to be flat out amazing, and that is my birthday weekend, guys, because my birthday is 2 days beforehand, so that's going to be fucking epic, let me tell you, and I cannot wait for SummerSlam. It was like in 2005. I had my birthday on the Friday, I had a party on the Saturday, and then I had one of the dream matches that I was dying to see as a wrestling fan. That was Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005. Granted, it didn't come out the way many people should have thought it came out. I'm glad Hogan won that day, but looking back on it, maybe Michael should have won. But anyway, that's the bit of breaking news coming from Smackdown, guys. Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2016 in Brooklyn. I cannot wait. Anywho, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Final Deletion match that took place July 5th on Impact. And I managed to see Impact. I didn't see the show. Well, I did see the show, and I did see what I could see of it. And it was mediocre at best. Some good stuff that happened, and EC3 and Drew Galloway having their feud and everything. But the reason why I watched July 5th Impact was because of this match. And many people have their opinions about it, whether it's, Vince Russo and his mate doing the Jeff Lane, is it, that does the voiceovers and that. There's many of this. People like it, people don't like it. I, however, didn't like it, quite frankly. And it wasn't the match itself. I mean, it wasn't the worst match I've seen. It was just the spots in the match that made it horrible. I mean, one spot in particular where Jeff Hardy and Matt grabs Jeff and puts him back in the water, into the ocean, and then they made it out to be where Jeff was still underwater and he comes out as Willow. Turns out it wasn't him. It was the gardener. And then Jeff attacks Matt from behind. So many stuffs as well. It was a wrestling match, and you probably would use that term loosely, but it was just some of the spots in the match, man. It just wasn't... Granted this, it wasn't worse than the segment they did when he had that piano crap and they fought in that garage thing. And, when they signed the contract, it wasn't as worse than that. Granted. Okay, so they got that going for them. I mean, there was one spot in the match where, in the fight as well, if you can call it a match, where Matt started shooting fireworks at Jeff. There was all sorts of stuff, even the build-up and the promos. I couldn't get into it. I know there's going to be a lot of people that will probably hate this podcast, a lot of people that will probably agree, but it's like my brother said on the Altered Angle on the show, why the hell and what the hell is TNA doing? And the icing on the cake for this match, guys, is Jeff Hardy can't use the Hardy name anymore because he lost the match in the most weirdest ending I've probably ever seen. Matt pinned him 1, 2, 3 after Jeff was going to jump on him. The symbol, the Hardy symbol, lit up, and then Jeff falls off onto some sand or some dirt that was next to it, and so he had a cushioned fall, and then Matt just falls on top of him and starts counting 1, 2, 3. The whole thing, I don't know what to say. The whole thing was just atrocious. And like I say, the icing on the cake now is Hardy can't use the name. Jeff Hardy can't use the name Hardy in TNA. It's kind of like with Bischoff and Garrett Bischoff. You know, the whole thing, I didn't like it. I know there's going to be people listening to this that probably did. Everybody has their opinions. I didn't like it. I tried to get into it, but it was like What Culture. I mean, What Culture said it best. They looked, I mean, I watched their reaction video this week on it, and it just looked like they were like, the fuck am I watching here? It was god awful. It really was. And the segment was awful. I love the Hardy Boys. I don't love Matt the way he is now. He's a second-hand Willow, Bray Wyatt, and something out of friggin' Harry Potter character. I don't need that. And the whole thing was just poor. And I also found out this week from What Culture as well. They also mentioned in the video, I'll leave the link in the description below. You can hear this on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spreaker.com as well, and Mixcloud, should I be able to put it up. They looked at that and they just thought, the whole thing just was not good. And I mean, they said it best. I mean, Jack the Jobber said, shall we get some popcorn? And Adam turned around and went, you might as well, you know, more like cocaine or something. It's the kind of stuff that makes you want to watch drugs. And like I said, I found out this week from them that Slammiversary was almost their last ever show this week. I found that out this week from What Culture as well. They mentioned it in the video, and I'll leave it in the description below. The whole thing was just atrocious, guys. And if you haven't seen it, go and watch it and see what you think. You might like it, you might not. You might agree with what I'm saying, you might enjoy it. You might enjoy it because it's the Hardy Boys. And I love the Hardys. I love the Hardy Boys in general. Jeff is the better Hardy, there's no question about that. But, oh God, the whole thing was just, it was just a carnage is what it was. But the positive side out of this, it wasn't worse than the contract signing that they had before Slammiversary. The fight in the garage and everything, the contract, and then he puts him through a table that you'd find in the living room kind of thing. I don't know what the hell TNA are doing, but how are they still in business is amazing to me. It seems like they're surviving by the skin of their teeth from what I'm hearing. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little podcast, this quick little weekend podcast to give you the breaking news in case you didn't hear it. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton one-on-one at SummerSlam. Tune in to this coming Monday, July 11th for the 119 episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast, and also check out another extra show sometime during the week where I'll be doing ICW as well, so be sure to check that out, guys. Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW special coming next week, so be sure to check that out. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Wrestling Matters, although you probably wouldn't think it in TNA. Everybody, all the wrestling fans, stand up for professional wrestling, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.